Cities all across India are just exploding. They're swallowing up the countryside at this incredible pace, and we're going to talk about that expansion, but probably not in the way you're thinking. This isn't about shiny new skylines. Nope, this is about what happens on the ground, right at those chaotic edges where farm one day becomes a piece of property the next. And let me tell you, that transformation is anything but simple.
Okay, so let's zoom in on a specific place, the Delhi National Capital Region, or the NCR. This place is one of the fastest-growing urban zones on the entire planet. You've got to think of it like a frontier, a place where the futures of millions of people are being decided, literally plot by plot as this megacity just pushes outwards.
And this picture just says it all, right? On one side, you've got the crowded, organic feel of an old village. And right next to it, bam, the clean, straight lines of brand new high-rise apartments. It's two completely different worlds colliding. The old way of life, the agrarian landscape, is just being absorbed by this new urban machine.
So that gets us to the real heart of what we're digging into here. When this collision happens, it isn't some neutral event. A whole new game starts up, with a whole new set of rules. And that game creates winners, and it creates losers. So the real question is who even gets to play? And maybe more importantly, who's set up to win?
It all begins with this huge shift in how people even think about land. I mean, it's no longer just soil for growing food. It's become a speculative asset, like a stock or a bond. It's become a ticket to a totally different kind of life.
I mean, listen to this quote from a local landowner. It just hits the nail on the head. Land is no longer for farming. It is for making money every month. The entire mindset has just flipped. The value isn't in the crops you can pull out of the ground. It's in the rent you can pull in every single month.
And the money here? It's just wild. We're talking about the potential to sell just a single floor of an apartment built on what used to be a family plot for 40 lakh rupees. That's about 50,000 US dollars. All of a sudden, ancestral land has turned into a winning lottery ticket.
But here's the catch. Not everybody gets to cash in that lottery ticket. The thing is, the rules for this new real estate game, well, they aren't written down anywhere, and they are definitely not fair. Let's really look at the two sides of this whole boom.
Basically, you can break this whole situation down into two groups. You've got your insiders and your outsiders. The insiders, they're usually from dominant castes, the ones whose families have owned land for generations. They've got a head start. And the outsiders, they're the marginalized communities, especially Dalits, who are at the bottom of the old caste hierarchy. They often started with no land at all or just tiny, insecure plots.
So first, let's hear from an insider. He says, I have built more than 200 rooms. Every month, the rent gives us steady income. Wow, he's gone from farmer to a full-blown landlord, a real estate mogul. He's used the land he already had to build a rental empire, creating a kind of income that farming could never, ever touch. This is it. This is the dream, right?
Now listen to the other side of the coin. This is the voice of an outsider. People from big castes bought our land for very little. Now they are making buildings, and we are left only as tenants. It's the same boom, but for him, it's a completely different story. He was pushed to sell for cheap, and now he has to watch others get rich on what used to be his family's land. He's totally locked out.
Okay, so let's just lay it all out. The differences here are huge, and they're built right into the system. Insiders start with the most important asset, land. That gives them access to loans, to builders. They have the social and political connections to get permits, to get things done. Outsiders, they start with next to nothing. No land, no money, no powerful friends. So what happens? The insiders become developers, and the outsiders get stuck in low-wage, insecure jobs. The whole game is rigged from the very beginning.
So you have to ask, how does this inequality actually get, built? Like with bricks and mortar. It happens through what you can only call a ground war for space, a real fight to claim territory before a single bit of concrete is even poured.
Right. There's a key idea we need to unpack here. It's called a speculative territorialization. It sounds complicated, but it's a really powerful idea. All it means is taking control of a piece of land, not for what it is now, but for the profit you speculate you can make from it in the future. And this isn't just about business plans. It's a real physical and political battle, using actual walls, gates, and political power to draw lines in the sand, deciding who gets in and who stays out.
And believe it or not, there's a kind of playbook for making this happen. Step 1, you mark your territory. Put up a wall, a fence, anything to show it's yours. Step 2, you start expanding. Slowly, you push your boundaries out onto common land, into public alleyways.
Step 3, you use your power, your political friends, to get your plans approved and, this is key, to block anyone who gets in your way. And the final step, you coerce and pressure the weaker groups to sell their valuable land for pennies on the dollar.
Just take a look at this picture. Yeah, it looks like chaos, right? But it's not. It's basically a giant chessboard for this ground war. Every single wall, every new foundation, every little extension you see pushing into an alley, that's a strategic move. This is speculative territorialization in action. It's a high-stakes game played with concrete and steel.
And this isn't just theory. It has real, devastating consequences for people. Let me tell you about one Dalit man. He had a small plot of land, but a more powerful neighbor wanted it. His boundary wall was broken over and over again. He was harassed, intimidated, until finally, with nobody to turn to, he was forced to sell his land for almost nothing. And the person who bought it? He built a 5-story building and is now making a fortune in rent.
So what does this all mean? When we pull back and look at the big picture, you start to realize this isn't just about a few villages on the edge of Delhi. It's about how our future cities are being built on the foundations of a very, very old story.
And this right here is the absolute key. This shiny, modern process of building a city, this engine of what we call progress, is actually just reinforcing ancient social hierarchies. The new map of power in the city looks shockingly similar to the old map of power in the countryside. It's just the old power structure wearing new clothes.
Okay, so let's recap the big takeaways here. First, urban growth is never a neutral thing. It's deeply political. Second, it has the power to recreate and even strengthen historical inequalities, like those based on caste and class. Third, the physical shape of our future cities, the streets, the buildings, everything, is being decided by these power struggles happening right now. And finally, while this story is from India, it's a powerful way to understand what's happening on the edges of growing cities all over the world. And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. As our own cities keep pushing outwards into new frontiers, it's really worth asking, who is writing the rules of the game where you live? Who is winning the ground war for space? And what kind of city is being built as a result?